Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of Let's Get Real with Seven Podcast. Today's episode is called Culture Shock, and I have three beautiful women here today with me, and these two are both my mamas. This is my birth mother, and this is my godmother. And these two women have raised me and have shaped me to become the man that I am today. And honestly, I'm truly grateful to have them on my episode here today. But before I begin, I would like to give them both a chance to introduce themselves and just kind of say a little bit about who they are. Mama, you can go first.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rosa Mapendo. I am a Seti's mom. He's my number 7 child. So I am so excited to be in his studio. I am a mother of 10 children. And also I am happy to sitting with my sister and my daughter-in-law and the city and the studio. That's who I am, I believe. Yeah. That's it.
You're so sweet, Mama. I'm Mama Debra, and I had the privilege of participating in helping raise the 10 most influential people in my life as far as raising children. And that's because of my beautiful sister who opened her heart to my husband and I and allowed us to participate. It's been a joyful adventure.
Thank you, too. And today I have my beautiful sister-in-law who will be helping me translate so my mom can better understand the questions and so you guys can get all that I wanted to get out of this podcast. You can introduce yourself, though.
Hi, my name is Brenda Chantal, and I'm a daughter-in-law to these beautiful women and a sister-in-law to Seth. Yeah.
Yes, she's married to my handsome brother, Chubahiro Moise. But we will get started. The first question will go to you, Mom. First of all, how was it? So this is where you're gonna translate, but how was it like going from a concentration camp into a whole new state or a whole new country with 10 children? So you've lost your husband, and now you're in a whole different country where you don't speak the language, and now you're put with the task to raise 10 children. What is that like?
Byari bimeze gute uvuye muri camp uza hano mu gihugu gishasha n'abana 10 gutangira ubuzima bushasha umaze kubura umugabo wawe?
Thank you for that. Is the crucial question. So, is it harder to explain how was it look like? But when we got rescued, is it the time like human nature come back to my mind? Because where I was, we never have any hope, no anything about life. So here we were being in death, and we come to the new country. In the refugee camp in Cameroon, we spent 6 months. Number one was come to my mind. If I knew my husband was going to die, I should never have 10 children. Or if I should not even married. And I was so confused where I'm going, who's it going to be, because I knew I was going to country, have no brother, no sisters. And I look at my kids, but in the other hand, I was said, thank God to see all my children, our life. And I said, maybe God have a good more plan. And I was so confused. I tried to ask my brother to go to Benin. I said, my brother, if you love me, do not let me go to America. I never heard America exist country. So where does America mean? What language they speak? Who I'm going to be with? He said, my brother, you know, I am 36 with 10 children. What do you think how you think I can survive My brother, he tried to explain how the America look like. They will help you. But anyway, I had no choice. When I come to this country, there was a time for cry. A lot. Time for depression. And look, everything is so different. But God, same God who saved my children and who saved me, I really, really appreciate for what he have done. He was encouraging me to see how the devil was hunting me. Even though nobody's chasing me to kill me anymore. But life was crazy. No one, nobody, I can try to explain how the life was look like.
Yeah.
Nobody. I can't paint that picture. A new country, no language, no friends, no family. I was looking what is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Wow, that's a really good answer. But I think it's a perfect segue into my next question. So you're in this country where you don't speak the language and you don't really know anybody. You don't have any siblings. And you're trying to figure out what to do next. And this is where Mama D comes into play, I believe. And I would like for Mama D to, one, explain to me, or to express, one, how did you two meet? And second, what were your feelings towards her once you got to know her a little bit? And how did you guys become so close?
So I was teaching English at a school for adults, and a good percentage of the students came from other countries and were refugees. So we had a few people from Congo. You remember Joseph? He just came to my mind. And the original reason I was drawn to Mama Rose was because she spoke French. And I always picked out the French speakers because I love to use my French. I had returned from France just a couple of years before that. So I loved using my French. And that was good because Mama Rose was not in my class. So I got close to the students who were in my class. But I worked with more advanced students, and Mama Rose had just gotten here, so you were a beginner. So you weren't in my classroom, but I saw you and I knew you spoke French. But the reason that, besides being able to speak French with her, what drew me to her is what drew everybody to her at the school, because she was very well liked. And there was one thing in particular she used to do that we would all talk about when she wasn't there. They'd say, "Did you see Rose do blah, blah, blah?" And I don't know if she knows what it is, but maybe because she had just gotten here, it was her first year. She was very much used to doing things the way that she did where she came from. So this was a computer-based school. So you have a big room, and on the perimeter of the room are the computers. So everybody's working on their computers, but there's a large space in the middle. There's usually, I think there's a table in the middle where you could come meet the teachers for extra help, but mostly the teachers would go around to the students. So there's a lot of empty space. Mm-hmm. And what Mama Rose would do is she would get up with no shoes on, and she would dance, and she would sing, and you would hear the teachers and other adults talking. Have you heard Rose sing? Have you seen her dance? And she'd do her dance. And so physically, besides being beautiful, she dances beautifully. She sings beautifully. So everybody was drawn to her as an individual. So, I think I was like everybody else. I just liked her and found her very beautiful, and she spoke French. And so there were a few things that drew me to her as a person. Mm-hmm.
Mama, it's almost the same question, but in the sense of now looking back at it, it's like she became like a mom to us, and so it's easy to be so comfortable with it. But what was your first impression of Mama D? Like, why were you able to easily trust her so much? Like, what about Mama D did you really stood out to you in a sense for you guys to become so close?
ni iki icyatumye ukunda mama D cyane ku buryo wamwizeye wizera nuko aba mu buzima bwanyu n'abana bawe? Ni iki cyatumye umukunda cyane?
To be honest, I start without a thing to say, because of this kind of emotion, to let us think exactly the beginning when we come to this country, how the life was looking like. Because we never have an opportunity to express that feeling. First of all, what drew me to go to school, before that, I was so sick, because every night time, I could not sleep. Because when I was in prison, they make us carry water in order to give anything to eat. So when I was sleeping in bed, I was feel like my chest was separate. I could not sleep like that. So, and I was go to my knee and lie like this. So when I was laying down like this, all my memory in prison came. And I was crying. Sometimes I cry when I'm dreaming. And when I wake up, my bed was wet. So, it was I thought I was going to die also. And I was saying, why I am alive? And I said, my husband is lucky. He went before me. Because to be honest, very hard to explain. The kids was going to school. Even people, neighbors, because I'm at home with the 2 babies, the one in the hospital, the girl on Andre. My life was like anything, like poor different way, and I can't have it like same. And I said, I wish to die anyway. How my life is going to be, and that was causing my headache like crazy. So one day I said, God, what can I do? I went to, I asked a Catholic, can I go to register to the Maricopa class? Just to try to keep busy myself. And I went there. So when I went there, my headache was crazy. And I asked a teacher, so please, can you give me a place to sleep? The teacher, she said, this is a class. We don't have no bed in the school. And I said, okay. I went outside and I lay down. It was too hot. My eyes was red. Somebody passed me by. And I said, oh, there is somebody who's passing out outside. Oh my, I was so swollen. The people asked me, why you are here? And I said, I have a crazy headache. They asked me, do you want to go to the hospital? My mind, because I knew the reason why I have that headache is cry so much. And I said, no, take me home. They took me to my apartment. When they put me in the house, in the apartment, I lost my mind. I lost my conscience. They called the police. They came. They will put something like a mirror over this. They put the squeeze to see if I can move. I couldn't. They took me to the San Joseph Hospital. 4 days without finding out what it was. They say she's not sick, but we don't know why. So one person told them, I am a survivor from a genocide. They get from there. Mama Debra, before I met you, they were taking me to the counseling. Somebody was asking me one question, and I feel like water. Crying. That time, I took medication. They were giving me medication to make me sleep. I gained weight, 218 pounds. And I said, oh my God, I'm going to die. So one day, I just get up. I think, how God, miracle He have done in my life. How God, other women passed away, but He saved me. And I thought, No matter what, I still have my children. Devil want to take me, even nobody's hunting me for killing me. All my kids cannot die from starvation. And I get up and I say, from today, my decision, I will never take medication, because this medication, it can kill me very easily. Because I was eat so much and sleep. So the time I feel like energy to cook for the kids was the time to take another medication. It was so crazy. And when I come to your school,
was that medication for depression?
Was for depression and to help me to sleep.
Okay.
So when I went to after that, 5 months, without letting doctor know. I was go to the hospital, because I thought if I said I'm not going to take a medication, then people will think I'm going to suicide, to kill myself. Want to protect. I was coming to medication and put away, and I took a medication from a doctor and I kept it somewhere. Nobody can know. And I said, God, I will never, ever. You're the one who saved me without any medication. You are the one who helped me to give birth to twins in prison. You are the one who saved my life with the 2 cups and cooked rice. You still same God who saved my life. I'm not going to die from that. So when I went to your school, it was a kind of found something to keep me busy. The way I was singing in your class, that's in the prison, is it the most weapon help me to fight with small things.
Right, to survive.
When I knew I'm going to die tonight, when I knew one of my kids is going to be killed tonight, when I knew one of my friends is going to be killed tonight, and I said, singing it out, and I was said, devil, no matter what, if I can die anyway, this is not a voice from God. If it's God can encourage me, he said, Rosa, be strong. And I said, I'm not going. That's how. So I was, even when you were singing, maybe something came to my mind. Remind me. And I said, I don't want to go to depression and cry. That's how I met you. The one thing tracking me to go to your point, to meet Mama Debra. So Mama Debra, her husband come to pick her up. She was close to me without, I don't speak that much French anyway. For some reason, for somehow, she was close to me more than anybody. Even though I was not in class. You know, like, you can think somebody who cares for you, even though she don't speak. You can know the person. That's the kind of who she was. And one day she asked me, Mama Rose, because I used to take a bus, can you please, I took you home. Oh my God. My house was horrible. 2 bedroom, 11 people inside. It was crazy. And I said, sure. She took me and she asked me when she went to my apartment. She said, can I let me go in? And I said, yes. She went in. I don't know what attracted her, because I thought she will never come back. I thought, that's it says, or even she go to that apartment, she will never, ever, ever come back. It's the last time. I don't know what happened to her and Tony. It was amazing, to see somebody who cares about you unconditionally. Never expected anything, because I never know somebody can expect anything from me. Because in my life, I thought it was ended. That's exactly the story, how we met each other. God, he glue. Was a kind of saving my, somebody to speak to. You don't know, nobody knows how to be lonely.
Yeah.
because you cannot talk with the kids.
Right.
Nobody knows how to be lonely.
Well, and that kind of loneliness is really hard to describe, to put into words.
Yeah.
But that's actually, you made me think of another question, actually. So, like she said, she assumed that you were never going to come back to the apartment.
Right.
I would love to know.
So funny to me.
What exactly drew you to come back?
The apartment. So I think I just walked her in because I thought it was the right thing to do. I didn't have any expectations. But it was nighttime, and women at nighttime, we should have friends. And so I walked her into the apartment. I didn't notice how small it was. But, you know, culturally, the Banyuwanenge are very inviting. If someone comes in, then there's a few things you have to do, which is invite me to have a seat, bring me something to drink, and then all the children lined up. I'm like, oh, yeah, I love anything that's culturally different from me. So I'm like, ooh, I was enjoying it. I was like, this is interesting. And none of you spoke good English. If you did speak, it was minimal. But every single one of you, from Pookie, Luke, Andre, Gaylord, the youngest, up to John. If John was there, I think John was there that night. I just know there were a lot of beautiful brown boys standing up in front of me, and each one walked up to me and shook my hand and said hello. And they knew, like they had been trained in all the chaos that you had come from. You had managed to teach them how to be respectful when somebody comes to the house. I was extremely impressed. So there were probably 9, 7, 8 boys there. Shook my hand. And I can't remember if you sang that night, but you might have. I was so overwhelmed by the presentation of respect and courtesy, and got me something to drink. And when I walked out the door, my thought was, I can't wait to come back, and I need to bring my husband. And I will tell you, it wasn't that long after that I did bring him, because I went home and told him about that amazing experience and just how overwhelmed I was with appreciation. I know for sure the time that I came with my husband, Papa Tony, I know that same routine, because that's the respectful thing you do. And I was like, you just wait and see. Just come. I'm not going to say anything. You just need to experience this. And he came. So there's one more man in the house. And sat down. Sat down on the couch. Everybody lined up. We got our drinks. And you know what I remember about the drinks? This is something cultural too, that we thought maybe it was you, but now we've learned, we've been to enough houses, but you fill the cup all the way. You're like, and I've learned that it's something we talked about later, how even when you don't, another beautiful thing was you don't have much, but you're giving all that you possibly can. So again, more respect. And I know that time you sang, you probably started the kids with song. And at that time, all the kids knew all the words to all the songs. Yes. And I was just in like the happiest place I could ever be. It was so beautiful to me. And my husband and I, who just loved children and loved being around children, I just thought, how can we be a part of this? So it was always my goal to just get back to that apartment, and I loved that. I loved that space.
Thank you, Mama, for sharing with us about the reasoning behind why you decided to come back multiple times. But this episode is called Culture Shock for a reason, because not only does my mom come to a whole new country, not speaking the language and having to adjust to a different environment, but then you as well too. You and Papa Papa had kids, so he was able to raise her. But then, so now for you, a different culture shock. Now you have to help raise 10 kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like for you to kind of talk about how that was like, having to raise not only one kid from Africa and the different cultures and what it goes about doing that,
Mm-hmm.
but also just kind of hit on how were you able to also respect my mom's way of teaching us and raising us and disciplining us. And then also after that, I'll have my mom kind of speak upon what went into entrusting Mama D to every other weekend take two of us at a time to go over and spend time with you and Papa Tony at you guys' house, and what that was like. Because I know for us kids, it was great. We were able to get into a different environment, and just we all felt so special just being able to be picked up by the two of you. Even just you guys coming over to pick us up, that was just special in itself. But then allowing us to come and spend the weekend with you guys, that alone was just incredible for us. So I would just like for you to kind of touch upon the culture shock. You like you two specifically don't have kids together. He has kids of his own. But how is it like to raise 10 kids from Africa in a sense?
Well, I think that Mama Rose touched on something when she decided not to take the medication, that God gives you exactly what you need. Because who would have put the two of us together? It looks like it wouldn't make sense, but it did make sense. And one of the reasons that it wasn't hard for me or Papa Tony to respect Mama Rose's rules was, personally, I was hungry for some mothering advice. And you were so much more advanced in that than I was. Coming from a teaching background, had spent a lot of time with kids. So actually, it was the teaching that kind of got me into taking the kids out, because Moses, who came here a little bit older, needed some help with reading.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a teacher, so Mama Rose and I had talked about it. And I said, I don't know if it was I said, what can I do to help? Or she said, could you help? But somehow we came up with, what if Moses came to stay with us on the weekends and we worked on reading? Mm-hmm. And so that's how it started. And then Papa and I were like, well, we love all the kids. We need to have them all over. So we would start switching them out. And you guys would remind us. You're like, I think it's my turn. And I'm like, okay, but you got to do that. Because sometimes we have little mini vacations. And we try to keep things fair.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I just had, starting from the beginning, I personally had so much respect for the way that you had raised your children and the way that they behave, that I wanted to learn from you. And I was very humble in my parenting skills at the time. So I knew I had a lot to learn. And I also loved the fact that you trusted us enough to take the children. They were the most joyful moments for us. So I did not want to mess that up. I was like, you know what? I always saw them as your children. And so if you were going to honor us enough to allow us to participate, we needed to respect your rules. And that wasn't hard. I mean, if it was every day and we were living together, then maybe we'd have to negotiate. But you were gifting us this time with them. And so I have one rule in particular that I can say. In American culture, a lot of times we give our children allowances or we pay them to do chores. But Mama Rose, clearly, early on, she said, you make sure that they do some work when they're at your house. I was like, oh, okay, sure. That wasn't hard. Okay. But one of the things that all the kids know is, and it came from us making sure they always did work, was you do your work first, and then you can play. Mm-hmm. And they knew there was always work to do. And so to this day, all the kids do the work first, and then you're free. Mm-hmm. So she wanted them to work at our house, which wasn't, that part was easy. But then she said, but you can't pay them because that's their responsibility. Mm-hmm. So don't give them money for chores. Now, she was taking a chance. We could have given her.
No.
But I just had so much respect for her as a mother, and I was so proud of the way she had raised you. I didn't want to mess any of that up. Mm-hmm. It was beautiful. I just needed to support and contribute. And so now that Papa and I ended up adopting 2 children of our own and we have them in the house, so much of the way we raise them comes from what I learned, which I knew I needed to. And that's why it was good for us to be together. So it has been enriching for the 2 other children that we brought into our home. So that wasn't hard. It came from respect.
Okay. Nice. So, Mom, for you, what had to go into you being able to trust Mama D to be able to take us, and every other weekend or whenever they had the chance? I know Mama just said that it started off with Moses and with the helping them read in school or whatever was happening. But from that on, you continue to allow her to take 2 at a time. What went behind that, and why did you have so much trust in Mama D to be able to do that?
Iki cyatumye wizera Mama D cyane ku buryo wamwizeye n'abana bawe umwemerera gukomeza gutwara abandi bana nubwo yari yaratangiye na Moses gusa ushaka amufashe kumenya gusoma, ariko nyuma yaho umwemerera no gutwara abandi. Niki cyatumye ubizera cyane?
Thank you. That's a good question. There is one time we have, sinzamenya, I don't know if it's twagize umunsi mukuru. I don't know if it was a Christmas. Number one, I told you when she came first time, I never knew she would come back. Because number one, my house, it was so dirty. Because they give donation as refugees. They don't give you new things. Always they give you use. And the apartment was a lot of cockroach. I tried to clean it my best. To see someone, I knew 100% she don't expect anything from me. And she come back 2 times, 3 times, come with her husband, sit to play with the kids. That was so amazing. I never thought anyone have a mercy. And most people in America, they have 1 child, they have 2, maybe 3. But they don't have that kind of kids. 11.
Yeah.
So one day you will have, I don't know if it's Christmas time, Brother Tony, he brought a gift for us. Number one, I don't think Brother Tony can buy you something that which one I don't like. Don't give somebody money. Teach him somebody to work. He didn't have to give us instrument like money like this one. You know what? Him and Mama did. They wrote each one different pieces. You remember that, Mama did? Purple, red, green. Each one of us, they have a word to write. For instance, they say, "We will support you." Like, say somebody, different word, say, "I will be there for you." Like those very heavy word and are very amazing. That is a gift. All of us, we will each one pick his. Oh, wow. Yanditse akantu, let me say in my language, banditse udukaratasi dutandukanye ngo bamare bandikaho amagambo bakagira umuntu bihwanye n'uko bamuzi kuko kuvuga ngo ko kubwira ngo tuzagura, we will support you. You know? And nimbisi twari and the day they will come and leave and come back, and I said exactly like how she said. Number one, I asked them, please, if my kids make a mistake, please discipline them. I think you remember that. Because I said, the Bible said, when you don't discipline your kids, you are the enemy. Because you don't want to show them the good way to go.
Right.
Discipline is not a sin. And I knew American people, there is not many people discipline their children.
Right.
They can give them a material, They can give them money. And I knew Mama Debra, she will give them money because they knew we need money. Do you understand? Yeah.
You're so smart about that.
We have nothing. I don't want my kids to be addicted with money.
Right.
Not to respect parents. And also I went to my kids. I said, the same way, any parents, you have to respect these parents. Yeah. Don't think because they're American. So that, like a day. And that
helped us build trust though together because you said, make sure you discipline them. And we felt like, well, thank you for trusting us too. Of course we will. And then we did. And so the trust just grew and grew.
And when my kids come back, I was talking to them, asking them to know if exactly they do what I think, if they can do work at the house. Because the American people, they pay them kids.
Right.
My kids, they don't pay me to do work for them.
Right. Nobody pays us.
Nobody pays parents. Why you pay kids when he has the responsibility to eat? He can make a mess the house. If he can mess, he can clean.
Right.
And I clean their mess. They don't pay me. Why I can let somebody pay my kids because they are doing? So when you take them to your house, they go to eat, of course. They go to make a mess. Why you want to do that? And again, pay them.
I'm gonna clean their mess and then I'm gonna pay them.
Why?
I'm gonna pay you for me cleaning up your mess.
For you cleaning up your mess.
Yeah.
That's really was it. To be honest, guys, I wish I will come to the point one day they can ask us this question. We did not prepare for, but right now I can pick some, it was other things. Mama Debra and I, we will fight sometimes. When we use, when we disagree for something, we argue. That is the most important. Glue me with her. Other things, Mama D? Even your family members. When I argue with Brenda, it's very easy to walk away, not to come back. She said, no. Actually, people arguing to each other is not to hate one another. It's the people who have one point and they try to find the solution. So when I discuss with Seth, it's not mean I hate him. It's not mean I don't respect his opinion. He has his own opinion, and I have a mind. We try to find the real one, the good solution. So that was a glue. When we can fight, very hard sometimes. Hey, we became like a very friend, not a friend, like family. So when we can argue for some, when we try to find a solution, and I thought she will never come back. She's white and so sensitive.
I'm half white.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. And after we come together, and he said, how come Mama Rose? I said, Debra, we say sorry each other.
Like sisters.
We say, I'm so sorry. Okay, whatever we say, what we was arguing for somehow, and we come to the good, conclusion, and we came like nothing happened. That was like nukuri bizana one unit. It build the trust. This person is not a fake. This family, they are real. They are not a hypocrite. They can never hiding you when I make a mistake. They can tell me the truth, and I knew they can tell my kids the truth. That's how.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
That is so good. Thank you, Mama.
It's amazing, I think, because we're talking about culture shock, but not only were we from different cultures, but when we first met, we're talking about this now, but with English that we did not share in the beginning. We usually tried to talk in French in the beginning.
Yeah,
because your English was so little that we were communicating in French. So
My kids, they don't know I speak French.
Well,
I spoke French when I was a
a lot of French.
A lot of French. Yeah.
So our earlier communications were usually in French.
Yeah, it was French. You know, that's the literature. That's what attracted me because nobody can understand.
And it's not even it's my second language and it's your fifth language.
Maybe not.
But somehow we figured it out.
Okay, so one, Papa meant everything to me, especially coming from the concentration camp, losing dad, and me being so young. One is super hard growing up anywhere without a father figure, and as I've grown and slowly matured, I've realized not only is it hard for me, but it's hard for the wife or the significant other that loses the husband. And I don't think I was as appreciative of how great you were to us and doing everything you possibly could to raise 7 boys. I know you had 3 girls, but just boys in general. I never really understood how hard that was until just recently, just growing up. But for us, we luckily had Papa Tony, your husband. One, I would like for you to talk about Papa a little bit.
I just feel like I want to. Is it recording?
Well, yeah, so I'm gonna edit it out though. Your point. You just feel like you want to what?
Oh my god, I feel like I want to cry. Like it's
okay.
so amazing. Like I know I'm not part of this, but I know we're on break. Right? Can I say something?
Yeah.
It's so amazing how Mom trusted Mama D, like to take care of you guys, and how Mama D fell in love with you guys, and she did it so well. Like that thing just throws me like off. Like I don't understand how someone can love someone so much like their own kids, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Mom just said that without any expectations. And Mama and Papa did it so
And yet
well.
we got so much. I think I'm ready.
Okay. Mama, could you please share a little bit about Papa so the audience can get to know him? For me, he was my dad. He helped me. He taught me. He was there for me in ways that I can never ever imagine. But just so people can kind of get an insight of who Papa was, there was no one better to talk about him than you. And I would love for you to just share a few things about Papa before I get into my real question, I guess.
Oh, my. Okay, well, Papa Tony, sometimes called Brother Tony. I think there were people who were younger than Papa that would be called Papa, but in the beginning he was more Brother Tony. And I think it was kind of happened naturally out of respect for the fact that there was a father. And his life was cut short unexpectedly, and so in the beginning it was much more Brother Tony, and then it evolved into Papa Tony. But he is the greatest man that I've ever known. He was a wonderful husband and a wonderful father, and I think just the fact that he trusted me when not only did I encourage him to come back to the house, but Mama knows that it's the women who guide. Yes. And I helped him see how amazing it was, and then, like me, he couldn't resist either. And so I thank him for trusting me, for trusting us. We were setting the tone. And he was just supportive, a wonderful, wonderful brother to Mama Rose. Yes. And a wonderful husband and father.
My next question for you is, so you have this person that you're with all the time, 24/7. And now you guys have adopted 2 beautiful kids who have become my little sisters, whom I love very much, Almaz and Solange. It's extremely difficult to raise kids in general. But now, unfortunately, Papa passes away. And now you have this burden of raising 2 kids of your own. Does this in somewhat kind of give you a different outlook on how my mom had to kind of adapt into raising 10 kids all alone? I know it's not the same, it's not as many kids, but in a sense, you go from being with someone all the time that can help you, and when you have which now I'm seeing, when you have a man in the house, he's able to discipline differently than a mother would. Because normally you go to your mom for comfort and care and love, but now you have to be everything. You have to be the disciplinary. You have to be the person who loves him, who shows affection. How does that change when Papa is gone, and how difficult is that?
Well, Mama knows the answer to this question, but I never knew until a few years ago. So what I want to say is that first Papa and I had already been raising you guys for about 9 years before Maz and Solange came along. So I had a lot of practice under my belt. And Mama Rose was just so generous that sometimes we had you for a week vacation. We traveled with you. We spent a lot of time with all of you. So we got to practice. And so when 2 kids came into our house 24/7, I felt like an experienced mother.
Okay.
So it wasn't challenging. I just pulled all the tools out of my toolbox. And no problem. Plus, they had instant big brothers and sisters who were also very helpful in the process. And I remember telling big sister Zaid when she would come over, because I had never had babies. Andre and Gaylor were already, before they would spend the night at our house, they were around 2. So I never had baby. And actually, Almaz came and she was 3. But, I was like, Zay, just tell me what to do. Because you know the whole diaper thing better than I do. I have no shame. But because another beautiful thing, another beautiful lesson that I've learned about your family. When you have 10 children, the oldest child has responsibilities that the youngest doesn't. And so it sounds like a lot of children when you say 1 parent and 10 children, but really each of you had responsibilities. And as you grew older, it was so many adults in the house helping out. So it wasn't the same as having 10 children. But so I had a lot of help from all of you once they came. So it didn't feel challenging at all. It was nice to have them 24/7, because whenever we have you guys, the hardest part was taking you home. So it was nice to have one that I could keep. But so then I had Papa for 8 years with Almaz, 8 years. And then he passed away, unfortunately, because we were a team.
Oh, yes, right.
We were a great parenting team. And the 3 of us together, just the way that we worked together with sharing information and contributing to all of raising you. And I can think of ways, even when Almaz and Solange came, that Mama was able to help me still, even though I'd had 9 years with you guys. She could still point things out, help me out. So, but I realized when my husband passed away, your father, Mama Rose was there in the house with me and was very helpful, because I had never seen someone die. And she knew exactly what to do. And I remember, talk about arguing, when she came into the bedroom where he was in bed with me, and she wanted to move him. And I was like, get out of here. You are not moving this man. I did not want her to touch him. I was like, don't touch my husband. I had no idea that she was asking me that because she was thinking he was going to go into rigor. And she wanted to stretch his body. So I didn't know that. And so we compromised, because then at some point she found a way to let me know. She gave me some more time. And she came back in. We prayed. And she came back in a little bit later, and she she said, because we have to think about what his body's going to look like. And I was like, oh, I didn't thought about that. So again, here we were, this team working together. Like we had so many different things. So there were many lessons that I learned about death from Mama Rose. But one thing that I learned the next year was how much I was not there for her as a widow when I first met her, because I didn't know what it was like to be a widow, and I didn't know what a widow needs. I didn't know how much harder it was to raise children, how much harder it was just to breathe. So when you were describing that earlier, about how you had to leave the school, how you had just hurt so much from crying, I couldn't have even imagined that. And I wish that I knew now what I know now. I wish I could have been there for you as a widow, the way that you were there for me, because there's just no way to know until you're there. So I was thankful again, the way that God brings you the people when you need them. Like, I think that was already part of the plan, actually, that we would become sisters, so that when I had to go through my trial of losing Papa, you would be there to help me, to carry me.
Thank you, Mama.
God is amazing, God.
Yeah.
Like if you can see all those pictures, God, he have a good plan, no matter what. Like in Jeremiah said, I know what I have for you. Mama D, no matter what the Papa passed away, imagine right now how your life should be without anyone making noise in your home.
Yes. Yes.
But true, you said, Rose, you told me this. You make me feel I can be a mom because I practice with your children.
Yes.
Now I can go to adopt a child. My culture, we don't put the kids in adoption.
Right.
Sometimes I was thinking, I wish one child can stay with you permanently.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, but in the culture, our culture will never put any kids to adoption, even though they lose both parents. Family, they have to keep the kids. That's why. So the way, and also Mama Debra, all of us, like life of Tony, it should teach everyone. Why? Because he done what he should. Without even he worked all the work with courage. He looked like he was somebody who knew he had to finish what God he planned for him, so he will go soon. In the end, God he sent each one for his own purpose. But he gives somebody work to do. The way your brother Tony is courage. You remember he was a cooking beans. He was the best man to cook beans. We call beans men beans. Men beans.
Yes.
He done, and he put all he have in these kids. We can see the picture. How bad he worked. And you are not American who care maybe for me more than anyone. And the word also struck me with Debra. I have many friends when I was in the hospital. People come 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, 2 months. Even they take a long time, a year, and disappear. I can never see nobody. But brother told me, Mama Debra, never. Imagine I was left when I began to work with Mapendo International. I was leaving, go to Africa for 2 months. Mama Debra and Papa Tony, come to stay in my home.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
I remember that. That was fun.
11 kids, 10 kids in the house. You remember David wasn't here, but Luke was there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
That is, he done what he should. He should teach all of us, guys. The work we should do today, do it, because tomorrow is not for us.
We work a team.
My God. My God.
Mom, I want you to, well, you just touched upon a little bit about Papa, but for you too, like I was saying at the beginning, there's 7 boys. It's extremely difficult to raise 7 boys and try to discipline them, especially when at first there's not really a father figure. So whenever we're at Brother Tony's house, there was a mom and a dad. And when we come home, it's just the mom. Yes, John took over the father figure role, but please talk about, one, how hard is that for you? And what do you have, like, what kind of mentality do you have to get into? Because there's probably women out there who have lost someone, and they're probably like, man, this is so difficult. This is so tough. What are some advices that you can give to women out there to help them and just keep their heads up and make sure that they don't give up? Because it is hard. It's different.
icya mbere ni uko abajije ni gute wabashije gukuza bano bana bose, cyane cyane abahungu, wenyine udafite umugabo. Bajyaga kwa Mamadi bagasanga hari Brother Tony, ariko bagaruka iwawe bagasanga ni wowe gusa. Ni gute byagufashije gute kuvuga ngo barere kugeza ubu nyine? Ikindi, hari abamama hanze aho ngaho badafite abagabo nabo barera abana bonyine, niki wababwira?
Ask first, can you please talk a little bit about that and the memories that you have of them, just shortly, briefly, before you answer that question?
Oh, Jesus. To be honest, number one, Papa helped me. Let me say this. Is it the life we have together with your dad?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When I met, you know, my culture, most people abuse women. Sometimes they beating them. And when I got married him, I never, it was an arranged marriage. Married, but all my mind, all my thought, I want to have a marriage with peace. I don't like to be in marriage and happy. That was in my mind. It was scary when I married your dad. So, and when I married him, after maybe 1 month, let me say that, I was so afraid because those the younger men, the experience to be a man, you have to abuse your woman. When she make a mistake, you have to spank him. I was saying, my husband cannot discipline me. He's not my mom. Is what I was saying. My husband can never. Sorry to take it. You know, I have to.
No, yeah, please, please go ahead. I think some African women need to hear this.
So in my youngest, I don't know which month, I cannot remember. After used to him, you know, can be able to talk, and I have a conversation with him. I said, okay, we never know each other. I don't know which exactly the conversation I stood. You know, we never saw each other because he was like, imagine it, Mama Debra. I thought I talked to him after one week we were in the house because it was strange to marry somebody you never talked to. You don't know.
Right.
You know? And I was able because I hate to have a family without the husband. And I talked to him. I said, okay, here we are. Anyway, you marry me. And I marry you. And I ask you, please, if you can respect me as your wife, I will be your left hand. And you will be my right hand. But if you thought I don't like the house fighting, please, I can go back to my mom's house. Your dad, he took this very seriously. We were both young. He was 18 and I was 16. To be honest, I so cherish the time we've been together. It's not many husband and wife. We was working as a team. I'm not the kind of woman who said only husband can do work for men. I was do more work more than him because I was strong. Imagine like my coach, I was going to catch the cow. If a cow having, and I was a farm, cut the trees big. He never do that. My husband, he like to study, he like to do things, and he don't like to go to farm the cow. You don't want to go to farm. He will tell me, he says, I cannot go to spend the day with the cow. Cow cannot talk with me. And how can do that? He found pay somebody to take care of our cow when we have like 5 cows. So that kind of experience, we was working together. As I felt, this is in my house. This is in my husband. He's my partner forever. I don't want, when I make a mistake, very easy to ask him sorry. Actually, we live together 20 years. Because of myself, I could be comfortable when I make him mad. And I would say, I'm so sorry. Even though it's not in me. And in order to ask him to forgive me, I was making a mistake, it's mine. Because we will eat together. Everything. Mama Debra, you don't know. The life we've been together, when like people take a nap, like a husband and wife, because I got to candle, because I got to
You want to translate that?
We have a like wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
Wrestle?
Wrestling.
Wrestling. Mm-hmm. When we have like after work, we go to sell the car, we come, when we go to our room, and we was wrestling. Mm-hmm. We have so much fun together. Mm-hmm. He was my best friend ever.
Papa and I wrestled too.
Uh-huh.
You know who won?
You, of course.
Because Papa was so much bigger than I was.
Me, it was hard for each one to win. I was strong so much. So I was not expected to be widow when I was that young. In the day when the war began, I was talking to him. He told me, you asking me how I take care for the kids, myself. I asked him, how you think this about this situation? He was quiet. And after, he said, I think this situation is not hard. I think they will not do any bad thing. And after he said, but if God loves me, I wish to die before you. And I said, Moses, I've been together with you and never knew you heard me. How even you can think I can be a widow, my age, with these kids I have? And he looked my eyes. He told me, Rose, believe in me or not, I believe you will be able to take care for these children.
He thought that you would be able to do it better than he could.
Yes. But he
so for the
even
children.
Me, I told you I cannot take care of this kid. Sister, we got to pray, both of us, say, God, I wish to die before, because I felt it.
I know.
So I was not ready, but the kind of a relationship, I did not want to even to put any, my kids, I can look my kids through him. I can.
Well, when you have such a great partner, you think, how can I do this by myself?
I know, but anyway, I say he's gone. I have to be both because he's now going to come. Anyone, if I can say, I'm young, I need somebody, my partner, he's going to hold my kids, baby. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
There was an option to find somebody to help me out. But I said, I am like a chicken incubating my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like anyone can love me. This is a requirement. Like you can marry when you lose your husband. But because the relationship we have together, I don't want to be happy myself when my kids still lose their father. Do you understand?
Mm.
I said, I can have somebody comfort me. Who's going to comfort my kids?
Mm.
And I said, I will do whatever it takes. As a mom, I will tell my kids the truth. The truth. Yes, well, man, I thank Heavenly Father, Jesus, man, who been with me through those life as my friend. Life without Jesus is crazy. I believe. He became my husband. He became my best friend. Because I'm not Mama Debra. I am your friend. But I don't have a many friend in the life. To be honest. Think here. I don't have a many friends. And able for me to trust you. Only God who make that happen. If you look at my life when I've been here, have you seen me with any man in my life?
No.
Have you seen even like the woman, any woman like a crazy, we are friends? I'm not easily to have a friend. I like my kids, they are my friend. And Jesus, he does. Sister, God, he make me sleep, not letting me think like crazy. He take care of me. And I give it back. That's how the life. But to be honest, no one anyway. You know, God, he's in heaven. I cannot tell God to take my kids to the doctor appointment. You know that. You know?
Right.
I cannot tell God to say, help my kids with the homework. No. There is some place you need two people.
Mm-hmm.
God is the one who makes two people, not the one. But he was able. My kids, God, he go into my children. Mama, my kids respect me. When I'm very strong, not easy person. Because I have to tell my kids the truth. I tell them the consequence. I have to tell them, you know. And of course, I cannot provide all material for them. I tell them, I give you what I have. But my kids was able to be close to each other. There is a gap, things. And there is somehow, sometimes I see my kids, they don't have what they deserve, but it's how was what it is. Having no any other option. But I thank God too. This is not easy. Thank God. I'm not saying that. I'm sorry. I wish, I don't wish any woman to be a widow.
Mm-mm.
No. No way. No. Pray, please. I don't like. Sometimes I think I'm strong. I can handle more than anyone. But I know how hard it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know. But I can understand. You understand it now.
Yes.
And I never have somebody maybe helping me to practice like you. As we said, when you break your leg, you can never practice to rip. It teaches you itself. Ripping.
Right.
That's how it was. That's really life here. Was not an easy life, but through Jesus, the good man, the provider, who provide you to me as a gift. This is an Abi Mama Debra.
And then you to me as a gift.
Amen.
Amen.
Come on.
Thank you, Mom, for sharing. I think that will be all for this podcast. But before we go, man, I definitely want to thank you, my beautiful sister-in-law, and for you two incredible women. Truly, Mom, for like, there's really no words that I could ever express to tell you and show you how much I love you. Like, there's everything you've done and all the stuff that you had to sacrifice to not really help yourself. You haven't really gained anything. You've done it all so you can help us, so we can have a normal life, so we can grow up the way we've grown up. And you, Mama.
Yes.
Thank you for being willing to.
Like a part of Brother Tony, I think this young girl to be good managed. I don't tell them that much. But I don't know how. God, He knows what is best for me. She came as a gift and always was my prayer. You know, Moses in the prison, each one of child, he had some unique thing he was to do and touch my life. No anyone, no anything I can wish from seven to have in his life is to have a good wife.
Mm-hmm.
The good life, good family is like small heaven.
Mm.
Yes. But bad family is a small hell.
Mm-hmm.
So, like Brother Tony, he was sick. One who called me is Brenda. She came normal, the coach of Manyamurenge. And it was no any way Brenda can express before he got married to Moses. They ran away. When they see me, like, run away. This is how coach is, but she was close, very open to show she loved family. Very connected. She said, Mama D, he asked Moses to come. Maybe Brother Tony is in a critical condition. And when she said that, I was jumped to the car, come to your home. I would say, sister, I can't imagine if Brother Tony can pass away when I'm not there. I don't know what I should be. I don't know. Is it the person? Is it the man who, you know, no matter what, the kids need the father around? Is it how God planned? There is something I can teach the girls, but I don't know how to mentor the younger men. That he did, but unexpected. Sister, we have to rejoice in his life. He done all he should.
And I want to second rejoicing in daughter, sister, Mama Brenda.
Yes.
You are a gift.
A
beautiful, beautiful gift to this family. Thank you. I know you love your family, Brenda. But Mama and I really know, like your mama knows, the difference that makes in the whole family. Having a supportive wife. And we love your husband.
So we're really happy that you're there with him.
Yeah.
And we wish the same for Sandy.
We sure do.
Yeah, hopefully one day.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, man, Mama, truly, like we've said so far, man, only God could have honestly put this in motion. There's no reason that two strangers should be able to come together and literally create a unit, one. And you guys have not only shown me how to love others, but just to be a better human being. And I honestly could have, as much as I wish that Dad was here, As much as I wish Papa was still alive with us, I couldn't be any happier with the two people that are still in my life right now. And everything that I try to do in my day-to-day life, not only is it from Papa, but it's from the both of you guys. And from the bottom of my heart, man, I thank you guys so much. And I love you guys. And Brenda, to piggyback off of them, thank you for loving my brother.
I love us. All family. Brenda should love whole family.
But it wouldn't matter if you didn't love him more.
I ask him.
So
that's true.
So
we're keeping her.
Yeah. So it's
I ask him. Well, I don't know this is soon. I asked one of my kids. He told me. So I said, guys, please, you have to marry somebody in our culture. I would try to say, Mom, okay, if I have one like a Brenda. Right. I get it. To be honest, I'm not lying.
I get it.
If I have one like a Brenda, and I said, please, he has a sister.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for coming on the show. But everybody, like always, man, before I go, God loves you. I love you. God bless. Stay safe. Thank y'all. Love you.
Yes.
Oh, Mom, it's over. I see the last.